Hello everyone, welcome back. So in the previous video, we created this welcome page, and in this video, we are going to create home screen. So now we need to navigate from this screen to home screen, and for that we need to create a router. Let's create a router using our use router hook, and you need to import it from Expo router. Now we can use this on press method of this button, and the way we can navigate to other screens is using the push method and then the name of the route. So we will create a home screen, so the route name for that will be home. So now let's create a screen inside our app folder, home.jsx, and let's create a functional component and rename it. And for now, let's write this is home page, and this page should be accessible on the home route. So if I click on get started button, it should navigate to the home screen. Okay, we are navigating and we can see the home page. Now let's start designing this page. So first we need to use a safe area view here, and let's just remove this text because we don't need it. And here we're gonna use status bar component because we want to make our status bar fonts dark. Now let's give a class name to this safe area view, and we want to make it so that it takes full space. So let's add flex 1 and background of white and flex and spacing vertical of 5. Now we're gonna use a property edges, and this will receive an array, and we're gonna provide a value top. So this will make sure that it only protects the content from the top portion and we don't have a white space at the bottom. So next we're gonna have a punchline and the avatar side by side here. So let's add a comment, and next we're gonna add a view, and to make it side by side we have to specify flex row, justify between, item center, and a margin horizontal of 5. And our first view will be the punchline, so let's add a view and give it a class name of vertical spacing of 2. And inside this view let's add a text view and write ready to. I will add rest of the text later, so let's save this. We can see ready to text, and let's give it a responsive font size, and for that we need to use our responsive library. So let's go to our index file and just copy the import statement from here to our home screen, and let's give it a responsive size of HP 4.5. Okay, the text is big now, so let's give it a class name as well, and let's add a class name of fonts bold, tracking wider, and the text color should be neutral 700. Okay, so to complete our punchline we need to copy this one more time for the second row of our punchline, and this will say workout, and this will become ready to work out, and we're gonna have a different color for this workout text. So let's use rose 500. Okay, now it's looking good. Now on the right side we're gonna add an avatar, so let's add another view after this view, and let's give it a class name of flex and justify center and item center and a spacing vertical of 2. Now let's use an image component for our avatar, and we will use a source from our assets which I've already stored, and the image name is called avatar.png. Let's give it a height and width, and we'll be using responsive height and width. So let's give it a height of HP6 and a width of HP6 as well, so that our aspect ratio stays the same. So let's close it and we can see our avatar. So let's give it a class name as well to make it round. Let me just format it correctly. Okay, let's give it a class name, and we will have a rounded full class to make it rounded. Okay, next we are gonna add another view for our icon. So we'll be using a notification icon. So let's add a view and give it a class name of background of neutral 200 and rounded full, flex, justify center, and item center. Now let's close this, and inside this view we're gonna add an bell icon for the notifications, and for the icons we'll be using vector icons in our app. So let's see how we can install them. I've already opened the page for that package. So here are the vector icons. First let's install them using this command, and then we'll explore how we can use them. So open the terminal and paste the command here. Okay, now let's see how we can use this library. So if you scroll all the way down, these are the contents. Let's see how we can use them. Okay, so first we need to import the icon from any library. Then we need to provide the name, the size, and the color for this icon. And the icons for this library includes and design and typo, evil icons, feather icons. We can use all of these icons. So let's use the import statement from font awesome. We'll change this later. So let's just copy this here for now. Now let's also copy the syntax for the icon as well, and let's place it where I want to place the bell icon. Let's copy it here. Now let's see which icon we can use for the bell icon. And if you want to explore all the icons, you need to click on explore all the icons button, and here just search for the icon that you want to use in your app. So in our case we are using notification. So let's say I want to use this notification icon from this icons. So what I will do is, first I need to import the icons from this library. So let's name it icons, and we need to import it from vector icons slash icons. So now let's use these icons. Let's replace it, and the name for our icon is notifications. So let's just copy this and paste it here. Let's leave the size and color for now and save it. um, okay, we copied this semicolon, so let's remove it and then save it. Okay, now we can see the icon, but it's looking very ugly. So let's add a style to this container, and let's add a style property and give this a height of HP 5.5 and a width of HP 5.5 as well. Now for the color, let's use the gray color for this icon, and for the size let's use HP of 3. Let's also add a border for this icon, so let's give it a class name of border 3 pixel, and a border color should be neutral 300. Okay, now it's looking good. Now next we're gonna add our image slider at the bottom of this section. So let's add a comment image slider, and first we need to install this library React Native Snap Carousel. If you scroll down you will see all these beautiful examples. You can use either one of these carousel and it will look very good. But in our case I'll be using a slider with image parallax effect. So first let's install this library. Just copy this command and paste it into the terminal. And let's close the terminal. And let's add a view here, and inside this view we are going to create another component. So let's create a component image slider .jsx, and let's create a functional component, and let's use it here in home screen, and we can see our image slider. So first thing we need to do is import this library. So let's see if they have any import statement. So let's just copy this statement and paste it here. And we are also gonna use another component Parallax image. We will use this later. Now we are gonna use some of the images into our slider, and for that let's create a file in our constants index.js, and here I'm just gonna paste the slider images array, and these images can be found in our assets. I've already pasted all of the assets in assets folder, and don't worry, you will find all of these image in the GitHub repo, so make sure you give a start to the repo as well. So now let's use our carousel. Let's remove this and use our carousel component. Now here we're gonna use a lot of properties starting with data. That will be the images that we just copied, and then we're gonna use a property loop so that we can loop through all the slides for the infinite time. Set autoplay to true, and then render item. Let's write item chord, that will be a template for each slide. So let's create a function for this item card. Let's leave it like this for now and add rest of the properties. And then we're gonna use has parallax images, that will be true. And then we're gonna use a property slider width, that will be the total width of our slider. And let's use our WP method. Let's copy it from our index file. Let's paste it here, and here we're gonna use WP100 so that our slider takes the full space. And the first item will be the first index of the array, and the autoplay interval for this loop will be in milliseconds. So let's add 4000 milliseconds. So each slider will play after 4 seconds. And let's add item width, that will be the width of single item, and we will use 100% width minus 70 pixels so that we have a little space on the sides. And then the slide style, we want to make it center, so let's display flex and align items in the center so that our current item will be in center. Now this is it for the carousel. Now let's return a template here, so let's return a text view for now, and this will say slide just to see if it's working. Okay, we can see the slide and we see two errors here which we'll handle later. So the good thing is our slider is working and we can scroll through all the slides. Now here in this component we're gonna receive some properties starting with item and the index and the parallax properties for the image. So we're just gonna write parallax props, and here we're gonna return a view. So let's remove this and add a view and give this a style with the width of WP100 minus 70 pixels so that we have a little spacing in the sides, and we're gonna give it a height of HP25. Let's close this, and inside this we are gonna return our parallax image component, and here we're gonna add a source for this image, and that will be the item. So our item is the image from our slider images. So first time it will be this image, and that will be displayed for the first item in the slide. And then we're gonna add a container style, and let's give it a border radius of 30 and flex 1. And next we're gonna add a style property which will be for the image component, and let's add resize mode to contain. Now we're gonna add a parallax vector property, and that basically controls the parallax effect in the slides. So for now let's add one, and let's close it. We're also gonna add our parallax properties, so let's spread all of the properties here, parallax props, and let's save this. And now we can see our slider, and we have this parallax image effect as well, and you can control this parallax effect using the parallax vector property. So if I lower the parallax vector, it will lower the parallax effect on the slides. Now we will have a very little parallax effect on the slides. As you can see, you can set it according to how much parallax effect you want in your slider, but I want to keep it at 1 because at 1 we have this increased parallax effect, and when you scroll through all of the images it looks very smooth. Okay, so our image slider is completed. Now in the next part we are going to create a body parts list at the bottom of this section. So this is it for this video. See you in the next one.